Taurus Rising, in around 18 months, you'll understand what this reading was really about. I'm Sook Boy, you're awesome. Let's talk about it. I want you to think back to the time period between 2007 and 2009. This was the last time we saw the South Node move into your 4th house of Leo and the North Node move into your 10th house of Aquarius. Whatever that narrative was, whatever that thread is, it's weaving itself back into your life. Now, this shift at the moment feels very subtle. You may have not realized anything, but it's significant because over the next year and a half, this is where we will experience the eclipses. And eclipses usually signify a major beginning or a major ending in whatever area of the life they occupy. In your case, it's the 4th and the 10th house. The 4th and the 10th house represent your private world, who you are when no one's watching, your family, your roots, your ancestry, your heritage, versus your public reputation, your social obligation to society, what you build, the legacy you leave behind, so on and so forth. Additionally, the 4th and the 10th is also known as the parental axis, so it can speak to your relationships with your parents, and indeed if you are a parent. So over the next 18 months, we can expect some doors opening and closing, some beginnings and endings when it comes to you in your private world, that family, home, living situation, versus the legacy you leave behind. Where are you from and where are you going? Now, both the 4th and the 10th are known as angular houses, therefore they're powerful and observable, and they'll be activated for basically the entire time. But what exactly is the functionality of a 4th house Leo South Node and a 10th house Aquarius North Node? Let's break it down. The 4th house is the psychological basement, the foundations of your life. I might meet you in person. I might get some kind of first impression. That doesn't mean I see you for how you see you. This 4th house is all about how you see you, your self-concept, your self-image, and what impacted that in terms of who do you allow in that more intimate space. It also represents your lineage, your ancestry, and your roots. But more than anything, what is your psychological temperament when no one is watching? How do you find comfort? In a lot of ways, your family, home, living situation, this private world is your comfort zone, and the South Node wants you to question it. The South Node wants to locate anything that isn't working in your life and audit it. And if that is indeed a facade or a coping mechanism, it will incinerate it. And what I mean by coping mechanisms exactly is what's worked for you in the past that's become very familiar, that you may have outlived or grown out of, but it's still lingering. Some kind of programming that tells you, this is how I normally feel about myself, this is normally how I solve the problems that I have in this area of my life, this psychological foundation, home or living situation, relationship with family and parents, for example. I've always been this person when I've been hanging around with these people, but is that really me? What about who you are when no one's watching, that private world, relationship with family, so on and so forth? Where has it obligated you or prevented you from stepping forward into a more public, visible version of you? And how much of what you call home is genuinely nourishing your soul? The North Node has moved into the Aquarius 10th house, and this is a lot more provocative. This is a lot more questioning of the establishment, questioning of the norms. It's a lot more unconventional, a lot more experimental. It's not necessarily looking for validation or recognition of what has been. It's very much looking at the future and how you show up in a more public way. Aquarius North Node is not necessarily safe, and it's not trying to be popular at all. It's not trying to perform in any way. It's not trying to necessarily fit in. It's about individualism and being authentically true to your ideology and not being scared to voice it for other people to hear it, for other people to critique it potentially. In other words, if it alienates itself, if it becomes the black sheep, it doesn't really care. Think about your Leo 4th house is you and the way that your family view you, your own cult of personality. This 10th house Aquarius is basically how you see the culture and how you contribute to said culture. The Leo North Node feels very warm and validated potentially by the people that it's allowed into its private world, whereas this 10th house is a little bit more cold and you might get pushback, you might get negative criticism about how you hold yourself. So ask yourself, are you being really authentic, like truthfully? Are you in your private world allowing yourself to broadcast those thoughts out into the public? And if not, why? What are you scared of? What is the psychological resistance you have to actually showing others, potentially strangers, who you really are? Now, this visible self might not be famous. I'm not saying go out there and try to be famous. Many of you will say, I have nothing to do, or nor do I want to be visible whatsoever. Maybe that's the issue. Even if you choose to be reclusive, you are still contributing to society in some way, shape, or form. This 10th house speaks about who you are when you're not in the room. It's that reputation. And it could include who you are showing up as in your career, when you're relating to authority figures, potentially what you're posting online, or what kind of expression you have that is up for criticism or feedback or observable to people that you don't even know. And although this might feel very unfamiliar and intimidating, the more you make yourself familiar with it, the more rewarding or fulfilling you will find this aspect of yourself becoming. And you can't really look back. That South Node is going to cut ties to that old version of yourself. That's the whole point, right? South Node is going to incinerate. The North Node is going to amplify. Now, I very much appreciate you watching this entire video. As a thank you, please send me a DM. I'll send you a coupon code for 30 Australian dollars off my natal and birth chart readings exclusively for new clients. I only love positive vibes always. Hope that helps. Okay, bye.